This is the week that changes everything. Are you ready? Welcome into Spiritual Mixtape. I'm Daisy Mack, and this is our weekly energy update. This week, it is the update for the 13th to the 19th of July. And what a month we are having, what a year we are having. But everyone, whether you're astrology, whether you're energy, whether you're just Joe on the street, this is a month that we have been really focused on, and there's been a build of excitement towards it. And half of us don't even really understand what's happening here. But that isn't the point. The point is what you can feel deep inside you, what you can trust, and what you know is true. That is this week. And people are going to talk to you about this basket in the sky. Barbault Basket, Andre Barbault. I mean, I'm appalling at pronunciation at the best of times. And new words to me can be so scary, like bubble. But it's important to talk about him and why this basket is significant. Back in the 1920s, he spotted this pattern in the sky. And so much of what we do when it comes to energy work is pattern spotting. It's half the reason why AI is actually exciting, because there are so many things that we as humans simply don't have the expansion to take in. But what is happening right now on the planet, in society, is an expansion of consciousness, whether it is through AI, whether it is just through what we can emotionally carry. Our heart's expanding, our collective consciousness is expanding. And what is coming into all of that? Like, what is filling that space? Charge, energy, light codes, frequency. We won't really know until we're on the other side of this. But what is exciting about the way this astrology and this energy talks is it's the first time of having once in a lifetime energy this year, which we've actually had an abundance of, yay. But it's the first time that it's truly anchored into the positive. There isn't a flip side to this coin. There isn't a, well, if you take the lower road, if you take the lower timeline, it could manifest like this, which is the story that we've been told over and over again with the Aries stellium, with the conjunction of Saturn and Neptune. What we are really getting with this configuration, a minor grand trine, when it comes to this, I do believe it's one trine, two sextiles. But what that means in terms of Daisy's astrology is a trine is like the best wedding, the best party that you could ever go to. And a sextile is the best dance that you could have at this party. And you are going, I mean, who's gone to a wedding and had two great dancers at it? I don't think that's happened in such a long time. So imagine that. Imagine going to your friend's party or your party, your birthday, and just dancing the whole night long. I feel like those days are so far behind me. It's so sad. But I mean, I feel like since COVID, and naturally this is a brilliant place to bring into, but I feel like since COVID, we haven't really had those moments, you know, where everyone gets together and celebrates. We definitely have had significant get-togethers. And I'm recording this on the day before America's birthday as well. Who knows what's going to unfold tomorrow? But the actual new moon, which happens on Tuesday, Cancer new moon, really talks to the energy of 2020. How separated we were. A Cancer anything, season, full moon, new moon, always talks to emotional safety, the safety we create at home, the home we make for ourselves. And if you want to work with that Cancer new moon energy, I've got a breathwork, of course, in the free community. So just go in, make a free account and use it. Use it. It's hard to talk about this week because I'm very jazzed up about it, but it is a mystery. And so much of what we do spiritually to feed that side of us that knows that there is something bigger that we are connected to, understands that mystery and trusting in the thing that we cannot see is vital to being on this path. But in this moment, it feels like there is everything that's happened before this July and everything that comes after. And like I've already said, don't be scared of this astrology because it is inherently more positive than what has come before. And if we've survived the more challenging once in a lifetime, once in several lifetimes, once in a millennia energy that's been pushing through this year, then we'll be okay in July. It is dismantling all the other parts, not necessarily this minor grand trine, but all the other parts are dismantling our fear so that we can step into our worth, so that we can move with ease, so that we can fulfill our purpose and our destiny. And what's lovely about what has been building this whole month is that we are no longer being fearful of ambition. What I think is important to this particular community is that we aren't always the people that step into the light. We are usually the people that provide the light. And the way that society has been set up, we give our light and really get nothing in return. In the past, it was hard to break through that pattern because everything in the world we live in was set up for it to be that way, for people like us to give, and never receive, and for us to be happy and satisfied and content in that relationship with the collective, with the world, and for there to almost be a hamster wheel that we just sort of sit in and continue to churn and grind. But we know since Chiron has been in Aries, that has changed. We know that that story will not conclude until April next year, but it has been a long 8 years, and the bows are beginning to tie themselves quite prettily, even if the truth behind them is quite painful. So even if we're not seeing necessarily a Chiron in this week or the more testy of the astrology that's been moving through, the energy that's been moving through, you still are finding the positive answers for it this week. Or perhaps you're being given sweet little love kisses for things that are coming. How nice. And always on a new moon, it is about what you're manifesting, what you're bringing in. And we are talking about manifesting an abundance more because you're having all of these abundance light codes being spoilt and showered upon you from this amplified sun, the sun that's working with Sirius in the run into the Lion's Gate. And I think I want to just end this podcast by coming back to the idea of the cocoon. I don't want to do this to death. I feel like it, we haven't been able to get away with it. And I did apologize last week on our last podcast because I didn't realize when I brought it up back in the end of May, beginning of June, that what I was feeling was serious. I thought it was this journey with surrender. And I'm sure it was both. This week, we have come out of the cocoon. I think that's probably the most important thing that I could say, and it's why it is an interesting way to close the podcast this week. The butterfly moment is this month. For a lot of us, it will be around this grand trine and minor grand trine. And the reason why that is Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto are outer planets. Think about this as systems that you have been built upon, foundations that you've been built upon, that it's very difficult to access, that are quite mature in how they live in the world. The way I'm seeing it in my head is like a vineyard. You know, a vineyard doesn't always produce a great harvest or great tasting grapes every year. This is a year where your vineyard is going to make the most beautiful wine that will age and vintage in a way that is going to sustain you, your family for generations, and be talked about and have legacy. That is what's happening when these planets work in harmony. Now, me saying that they're working in harmony doesn't necessarily mean that this is going to be a smooth ride into the positive change that they're creating for you. This, by its very nature, Uranus, could be a sudden change. It could be clarity that feels almost like, whoa, like a total wham in your face. I also think awakening. I think that you could jump between a timeline here. So this is the word I have to use, and I'm sorry if this is triggering or scary for people, but it could be a violent change between timelines. Now, what that means is that it will feel so sudden, like everything just switched. The deja vu is going to be very heightened. The dreamlike quality is going to be very heightened. But it's all for the good. It is for the positive. And very soon you'll see that. And even though I've said that timeline cross could feel violent, it's still so much more gentle than how things have played out for you while Chiron has been in Aries since 2018, since 2020. Some of what you have dealt with has been so heart-wrenching that even you stand there and say, I am so impressed I am still here. I'm so impressed that I can pour my coffee in the morning and have a chat with you. And I feel like I haven't even talked about the Venus square with Uranus at the beginning of the week and the Mars sextile with Saturn at the end of the week. Because there's so much happening in the middle, you can't really get away from that moon. You can't really get away from the minor grand trine. And I did and still believe that we should end things there. But if you want to read into those, go into the written version in the free community and read the closer looks on those days, because I do think that the Venus square, if you really resonated with everything I said about Venus last week, this is, you'll want to pay attention to Monday. And then Sunday, that sextile with Mars is actually a really nice way of closing the week. And I think it is fortuitous and kisses or sings to something coming. There's also a lot that's going to happen next week as well. I mean, I could sit here and talk to you for hours about all of this. And I hope that you drop into the comments and tell me all the things you're thinking. There's so much expansion coming. So make sure that you drop into the community to try out the breathworks, to read the written updates, to just be with other people who get it, who feel the way that you do. And to anyone else, thank you for being here. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for subscribing. And let's just keep growing this community. Even though what's coming next is going to be great, it will be a lot easier to navigate everything if we have each other. So let's stay in touch. Let's stay in community, and let's really support each other and love each other in the comments as well. Make sure you heart everyone who's coming through and big everyone up. Okay, I'll see you next week.